Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Koki of the Seahawk Recap Show, and welcome back to another Seahawk Game Recap. This time it's week 6 on Thursday Night Football, Seahawks versus the 49ers. This game determined who was first place in the NFC West, and yeah, the 49ers beat the Seahawks at home. It's three losses in a row. And man, this just really sucks. Again, I'm not going to get too upset just because it's every time, every loss that the Seahawks have taken this season, the three in a row, have just been really disappointing. I don't think that I needed to get upset at this loss in particular, but I do have some thoughts to say about it. So, without me rambling on too much more in the intro, let's get into recapping this week 6 matchup on Thursday Night Football. If you like these videos, please consider giving it a like. Helps me know if I'm doing a good job with these videos or not. And if you'd like to see any more future Seahawks content from this channel, please consider subscribing. That would be greatly appreciated. However, let's get to the game summary. The 49ers win on the road 36 to the Seahawks 24. And let's talk about the Seahawks because they were the home team. The Seahawks ended the game with 358 total yards, 306 passing yards, 52 rushing yards, averaged 4.9 yards per play, 21 first downs. They went 6 for 15 on third down, went 2 for 3 on fourth down, had 73 total plays, one sack allowed, four punts, nine penalties for 69 yards given up, one fumble lost, and two interceptions thrown by Geno Smith. And the Seahawks ended the game with 26 minutes and 57 seconds of possession time for the 49ers. They finished the day with a total of 483 total yards, 255 passing yards, 228 rushing yards, averaged 7.9 yards per play, had 22 first downs. They went 5 for 12 on third down, didn't go for it on fourth down. They had 61 total plays, zero sacks allowed, four punts, five penalties for 34 yards given up, zero fumbles, and zero interceptions thrown. And they had a time of possession at the end of the night of 33 minutes and 3 seconds of possession time. And let's get to Ryan's focus players. And let's talk about the Seahawks for a moment. And let's talk about quarterback Geno Smith. One of the worst games of the season for him by far in week 6. He went 30 for 52, had 312 yards passing, one touchdown, two interceptions. And man, Geno Smith, again, not a great game from him. His stats don't look great, and here's the reason why. He was flustered all game long when it came to the 49ers defense. Nick Bosa was in his kitchen making Geno throw inaccurate passes. He overthrew receivers. He underthrew receivers. He threw two picks that he shouldn't have thrown, man. There's no real reason for that, but his O-line really didn't help him much. Stone Forsythe was matched up the majority of the game with Nick Bosa on his edge, and having a third string right tackle as the guy that's going to match up against one of the best D linemen that the 49ers have is just not a recipe for success. And this game showed it. So, not a great game from Geno. And that's the reason why the Seahawks lost this game, is because of Geno's two crucial thrown interceptions. But we get to the running back and we get to Kenneth Walker, 14 carries, 32 yards, averaged 2.3 yards per carry, had the one touchdown. Great to see that Kenneth Walker is getting more involved after week 5. He only had 5 carries against the New York Giants. Glad to see his numbers of carries being improved upon. Now he's at 14 for this game, but the yardage wasn't there. And the reason why the yardage wasn't there was because the 49ers, despite how banged up this 49ers secondary is, and despite how banged up the 49ers are in general, you still got Nick Bosa there. You still got Fred Warner on this team who is notorious for stopping the run. So Kenneth Walker tried all he could in this game to try and get yardage and help the Seahawks offense, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. Averaging 2.3 yards per carry just isn't good enough to help secure even decent game for the Seahawks to try and come back in. And let's get to the tight end and let's get to Noah Fant. 6 receptions, 63 yards, averaged 10.5 yards per reception, 0 touchdowns. And I'm highlighting Noah Fant for the first time in the regular season because Noah Fant, I believe, the reason why I'm highlighting him right now is because he was the best player. He didn't get the touchdown. That goes to Tyler Lockett from Geno Smith. But Noah Fant was the guy that Geno had to go to because the rest of these Seahawks wide receivers were being, blanketed, and it's really tough to make good throws and accurate throws when you're being hounded all game by this 49ers defense. So Noah Fant really showing his strengths as a pass catcher, really nice to see Ryan Grubb using the tight ends, but it would have just been a lot nicer if Geno could have made some of those big throws to DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett or JSN. But a decent game from Noah Fant as the primary pass catcher for the Seahawks. And let's get to the Seahawks defense and let's talk about D lineman Leonard Williams. 3 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, and the run defense has been a problem all year long for the Seahawks, and this is no different. However, the reason why I'm highlighting Leonard Williams is because he is a crucial part of this Seahawks pass rush, and he got in there on pressure from Brock Purdy. But time and time again, Brock Purdy didn't get sacked because he was able to just scramble out of the pocket and get some yardage when he needed to. And there was no one there to capitalize on keeping Brock Purdy contained. And even though Leonard Williams didn't get a sack, he was at least getting pressure, which is something that the Seahawks really did need. And now the Seahawks just need to be able to contain quarterbacks so that they don't scramble for, a lot of yardage when they're being pressured out of the pocket. So a decent game from Leonard Williams. Would have liked to see him stop the run a little more, but he tried all he could as a pass rusher for this Seahawks team. And let's get to DB and let's get to Julian Love. 7 solo tackles, 3 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. And Julian Love was one of the best tacklers for this Seahawks team in this Thursday night matchup. Another thing with the Seahawks that I'm really noticing is that their tackling can sometimes be just god awful, like it was in this game. Julian Love did step up and make some of those secure tackles to try and prevent third downs and things like that. Yes, he made some plays where he needed to be a hero, and it ended up costing the Seahawks the Deebo Samuel touchdown. But Julian Love, a decent game from him. He was basically the only one in the secondary, except for Artie Burns, that I could point to that really shone out to me. So a decent game from Julian Love. I want to see better from this Seahawks secondary. And let's talk about linebacker. Welcome back, Boye Mafe. I wish your return to the lineup was a win, but here we go. I'm still going to highlight you. 3 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 0 sacks, no interceptions. But again, Boye Mafe, just like Leonard Williams, is part of this pass rush and is so crucial to it. And Boye Mafe not getting the stats that you'd like. You'd like to see some sacks from Boye Mafe, but he was trying to help in the run game. He's back from, injury, and he comes into this game and just tries to do what he can, but it's again not enough when the Seahawks offense can't score points, and then the defense has to be out there for long periods of time throughout the game. Remember, the 49ers had 33 minutes and 3 seconds of possession time to end off this game. That's insane, because of how good they were running the football. So decent game from Boyamafe. Just wish his pressure would have gotten him rewarded with a couple of sacks, because that could have probably changed this game. Let's talk about the 49ers. Let's talk about QB Brock Purdy, 18 for 28, 255 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And that's what led them to victory right there, limiting the mistakes on offense. Brock Purdy was a game manager in this one. He threw touchdowns to Debo. He threw a touchdown to Debo Samuel. He threw 2 more to George Kittle to kind of ice the game. And then he just let the running backs take it from there and ice the game even further with the Kyle Shanahan system. And Brock Purdy knows how to evade pressure, man. When the pocket collapses, he is very even keeled. He knows that the pocket's collapsing, so he just breaks contain and is able to get whatever yardage he needs to and avoids the sacks while doing it. So a good game from Brock Purdy. Let's talk about the running back for the 49ers, Isaac Garando. 10 carries, 99 yards, averaged 9.9 yards per carry, 0 touchdowns. And this was the fourth string running back coming in for the injured Jordan Mason. And he put on a show. The rookie, I believe he's 24, and he was 1 yard away from 100 yards. And that really shows that the Seahawks defense still after so many years is not able to stop the run. And that's just paramount. You need to stop the run, especially with a Kyle Shanahan led team who loves to run. And Isaac Guerrero did a fantastic job. So good game from him, leading the 49ers club to victory over the Seahawks once again. And let's talk about another tight end. And let's talk about George Kittle, man. 5 receptions, 58 yards, averaged 11.6 yards per reception, had the 2 red zone touchdowns. And man, the reason why I highlighted George Kittle was not only was he crucial for the 49ers in this game, but he is very interesting because a lot of tight ends now in the game today, I'm talking about like Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely when he's healthy and things like that. These guys are not blockers. They're basically receivers. Well, George Kittle can inline block and be a blocker and be a menace. I forget who he pancaked. I believe it was Devin Witherspoon when he went to go get a hit on a running back. I believe it was Jordan Mason. And George Kittle just went, no, I'm going to block you. And he pancaked whoever got tackled there in that second half. So he's a very good tight end, an old school tight end. And that's why I'm highlighting him here. The 49ers defense, D lineman Nick Bosa. Who else was I going to talk about on this 49ers D line? 1 solo tackle, 3 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. His stats did not tell the full story when he was faced up against Stone Forsyth on the right tackle position. He had, I believe, there was a stat on the screen where in the third quarter, he had 9 pressures on 18 attempts against Stone Forsyth. And that is exactly why he is so disruptive against Geno Smith. Geno Smith plays scared because remember, last week during the Giants game, he was sacked 8 times. So Geno Smith was never comfortable in the pocket, having to step up to make some of his throws. And when he held onto the ball a little too long, he got intercepted. So that was just part of the plan for this 49ers defense. Make Geno uncomfortable, and he'll start making mistakes, which ultimately won the 49ers the game. Let's talk about DB Ronaldo Green, 4 solo tackles, 2 assisted, 0 sacks, 1 interception by this rookie. No Trevarius Ward for this game, one of the best corners that the 49ers have. And the rookie man getting a pick ultimately in the fourth quarter just decided to cover DK. And because of Geno's lack of accuracy in this game, Geno held onto the ball a little too long, and Green just stepped in front of the pass, read the quarterback's eyes, and picked it off. And that was the name of the game. Geno was holding onto the ball a little too long, making kind of late throws, and that just ended the game for this team. And Green also had some big tackles in there, stopping JSN at some points. He was also covering Tyler Lockett at some points during this game. So good game from the 49ers CB as a rookie. And let's talk about the linebacker, the final position, and who else I'm going to talk about on the linebacker position for the 49ers. It's Fred Warner, 6 solo tackles, 5 assisted, 0 sacks, 1 forced fumble that he forced, didn't recover it, but he forced it on JSN and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And it's just insane the way Fred Warner plays, man. Stopping the run is paramount for him. He's a bully when it comes to batting the ball and making sure that he gets those strip kind of fumbles and things like that. He's just an amazing linebacker, and he's one of these big guys when it comes to stopping the run game on any team. And he did it here against the Seahawks. My final thoughts. Well, let's get to what went well for the Seahawks in week 6. Laviska Shenault getting that 97-yard kick return touchdown in the second half was what really put a spark into this team. They showed up in the second half. But before that, remember, the Seahawks only scored 3 points in that first half. But they showed up in the second half, made it close in the end. It was 36-24. So, at least they showed a little bit more effort than they did last week against the Giants. So I'm actually quite I'm not happy with the result of the game, but I'm glad that they showed up in the second half. I'm also glad to see that Kenneth Walker got a lot more carries in the game. That led to a lot of success for the Seahawks on the offensive side of the ball in the second half. And the defense also stiffened in that second half, still giving up some big plays, but there's a point where you need to start stiffening, and that's what happened. They were making crucial stops in the run game where they weren't before in that first half. What to improve on for the Seahawks? This was just a really tough game to watch from Geno Smith. Him giving up those 2 picks, like I mentioned, really is what put the Seahawks down in this game, and crucial mistakes on both offense and defense kept them down. And the 49ers, no matter how bad injured they can be, they're still a formidable foe, man. Like, they're still a formidable foe. They're still a presence in the NFC. I know they were 2-3 before this game, losing to both the Cardinals and the Rams in this division, but they're now 3-3 and leading the NFC West. And they're going to capitalize on mistakes if you give it to them. And that's exactly what they did to win this game. So that needs to improve. The offensive line, again, needs to stop letting Geno get flustered like this. Geno has, sometimes to throw the ball, but remember, just the sack numbers. The sack numbers last week is what rattled him in this game. And when you got a guy, again, like Nick Bosa, like Fred Warner, who can put pressure on quarterbacks, you cannot allow your quarterback to just be hurried like this because he's not able to set his feet and play well. He was playing scared the entire game because he didn't, did not trust this offensive line. So that needs to be improved when we take on the Falcons in week 7 on the road. My final thoughts. Overall, 3 losses in a row for the Seahawks really sucks. It really does. We're 500, but man, it just I just again, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed in this team. Winning 3 straight and then going down 3 in a row. That's polar opposite. I don't know what's really happened to this team. It really sucks to lose to the 49ers again. They're 6-0 against the Seahawks, keeping that streak alive, and they deserved it. Um, Again, I'm glad that the Seahawks put more effort into this game. They at least made it a close matchup. But when you have an abysmal first half of football, you're probably not going to win the game. And and that's just what happened. The 49ers still kept it out of reach from the Seahawks because of how poorly they played in the first half. Um, and you know what, 49ers fans, even though we as Seahawks fans are bitter, bitter rivals of you guys, I've got to show you guys some respect. I've been talking about you guys as a formidable foe this entire show. And you guys are 6-0 against the Seahawks, and you guys showed up in this game to take that divisional win. Enjoy the NFC West first place for now. I hope i hope that the Seahawks can get the run game going, and I hope that they can play a full 60 minutes of football, man. That's all I'm asking for. It is a tough stretch. 3 games in 11 days. I understand that. I understand that's not easy. 2 short weeks. Once on Monday Night Football against the Lions, and now Thursday Night Football against the 49ers, but you need to bounce back against the Falcons. Let's see if they can get back in the win column and get to 4-3 on the year. Anyways, guys, that is it for this game recap. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. How are you feeling after this devastating loss to the 49ers? I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Go Hawks, go. And let's see what the Seahawks have cooking in week 7 when they take on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Take care of yourselves and have a good day.